This is our 192 square foot tiny house on wheels, and this is the place where I'm staying during the social distancing period of COVID-19. These are some of the projects that I'm doing to keep myself busy and catch up on things in the tiny house and the Scamp as well. The first thing that I'm trying to do right now that the kitchen is clean is to refinish our kitchen countertops where the butcher block is worn. A little known fact about me is that about 14, 15 years ago, when I was in college, before I went to graduate school, I was working as a mural artist. I was painting and people were paying me for it, which was kind of amazing to me. My minor in my undergraduate degree was art, painting, and I really wanted to start my own business, but I kind of got to this crossroads where I either had time to go to graduate school for therapy or I was going to pursue starting my own business and doing this mural painting, and I was also like refinishing furniture and painting it really ornately, like hand-painted designs. So there came the day where I just had to say, graduate school is going to take all of my time, so I sold all my paints and my easel and all my tools, most of my tools. I still have my little sander that I used when I refinished tables and things, so I'm hoping it still works because it hasn't been out in a very long time, and I don't even have the right sandpaper for this, but I can't run out to the hardware store right now given the current circumstances, so I'm just gonna see how it goes, and hopefully I can get most of the really big scratches and things out and make it look a little bit better, at least with what I have right now. So alright, well I was pretty excited that the sander was working, but that lasted about 3 minutes and then it stopped working. So I did what I could, just hand sanding a little bit, but then I ran out of sandpaper and my arms are killing me, so it looks like this isn't going to get done for a while. I have a feeling this is going to turn into like 2 weeks of working on projects that I don't really have all the tools for, and they're all going to be like half done. But I guess that means over the summer, when everything reopens and goes back to normal, then I'll have a lot of projects to finish over the weekend. So still making some use of my time at least. Alright, I'm gonna start putting stuff back in the kitchen. When we moved into the tiny house, we knew we were going to get rid of the TV. We were also getting rid of our cable bill so that we didn't have to pay Comcast, not my favorite company, for cable. We still have internet right now, and I'm kind of working on some options to hopefully be able to get rid of that, because it's still, Comcast is just, it's way too expensive, in my opinion, for the service that you're actually getting. So 4 years without a TV has been really no problem for us. We use our laptop a lot of times if we want to watch a movie. Red, what are you doing? We use our laptop or the iPad to watch shows, or really mostly we just watch YouTube, to be honest. That's where the most interesting things are, where we feel like we're going to learn about places to travel or different lifestyles or how to do things. I feel like YouTube is really most of what we watch. But we had Netflix. We actually recently got rid of Netflix, and we tried Disney Plus, but we really didn't love that. We just really don't watch a ton of stuff, so it's been no problem not having a TV. I tend to like to do things. I don't love sitting and watching shows for a long time. So I feel like for me, getting rid of the TV was a victory. I was really happy. We had this huge big screen TV in the condo, and what did we do with it? I don't even remember. We gave it to somebody. When we moved, we gave away a lot of our stuff, so our friends and family made out pretty good in that whole process. I think for some people, living without a TV sounds like the worst thing in the world, especially when you're in quarantine and you're stuck in your house for days at a time. At this point, we've had 4 years to get used to not having a TV, so it really doesn't bother me. I feel like I am a lot more productive when I don't have TV shows pulling my attention away and distracting me from the things that I should actually be doing that are contributing to things in the household or whatever I'm trying to accomplish at that point in my life. So, no TV. Despite the fact that we don't have a TV anymore, we still have no shortage of screens. So there's our iPad. We use that mostly when we're traveling or if we need to watch a video like over in the kitchen. This is our main laptop that I use for video editing, and then I have another laptop that's usually my work laptop. And then my phone, Patrick's phone. So there's no shortage of ways for us to get information and to stay in contact with the outside world. You don't get cut off from everything when you get rid of your TV. Because I feel like that's what a lot of people think. So today's an exciting day. It's the day that we had scheduled to take the Scamp in for its spring service. But it's also kind of an odd day. Just the state of everything right now is super uncertain with the coronavirus. And especially when we came back from Florida a couple weeks ago, we were really, really hopeful about the summer camping season, our first full season with the Scamp, that we were going to do all these different trips and we were starting to plan and book things. But now the situation is that a lot of the campgrounds are closing and we don't really know how this is going to play out or when things are going to get back to normal. So we called the place that's going to do our service and asked them if they wanted us to postpone it, and they said no, we can drop off the Scamp actually without having any human contact. Drop it off, pay them over the phone, go back and pick it up, and it'll keep their technician working right now because a lot of people are laid off, including myself. It's nice that we can help out the small business in the area, and at least the Scamp will be ready when things do settle down and it's safe for everybody to travel again. We will definitely be ready. We took the cover off the Scamp for the first time and everything looked pretty good. I think the cover did its job. Everything inside looked pretty good, no leaks, so that made us happy. We unhooked the battery tender that kept our battery from dying, and then we actually had some issues with the hitch. The little locking mechanism that clamps down onto the ball was getting stuck, and we think this might just be because it was sitting over the winter.
Smash.
Figuring that out will probably be our next project in the Scamp, but we'll have to wait until we get it back after it has its new tires and its spring services done.
Check, 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 check.
When we dropped off the Scamp, I took the cover that usually sits over the top of the stove, and I brought that with me because I wanted to start to kind of play around with refinishing some of the surfaces in the Scamp. If I'm going to be home for the next few weeks, I'm going to need quite a few projects to keep me busy. So I figured starting with the stove cover would be a good way to just figure out how to work with the surfaces. So first I sanded it to rough it up a little bit so that the paint would stick, and then I put a coat of paint all the way around inside and outside to protect all the surfaces. And I had a certain idea that I wanted to try out with a map that we had saved from our trip to Colorado. I thought that it would fit perfectly on this stove cover. While I was waiting for that to dry, I switched my attention up to our ceiling. So the ceiling has been something that I've wanted to paint since we got the tiny house 4 years ago. And that has become more important because you can see the stripes that we're starting to get on the ceiling. That's where our steel frame is actually underneath the wood. And what happens with the steel frame is that any condensation inside will accumulate where the steel frame is because it's a little bit colder there, so the condensation goes right to those spots, and it's really not good for the walls. So we have to make sure that we keep a good coat of, usually I use bathroom paint because it's made specifically to protect from extra moisture. So we use bathroom paint on the walls and the ceiling to make sure that nothing actually soaks through to the wood or the drywall. Now, the name of our trailer, our tiny house, is Stella. And the reason I picked that name is because my original plan was to paint the ceiling above the bed in the loft a really nice dark blue color, and then I was going to put stars on there. So that's where the name Stella came from. But life being what it is, I got busy, and that was a project that I just have not had time for until now. So I got the ceiling all taped out and prepped for painting, but by then I was pretty tired of doing projects, so we sat down on the couch to relax and spend some quality time with Redford.